A very good morning to all of you, my dear seniors and colleagues. There is a very famous line from William Shakespeare's epic Hamlet, to be or not to be. And today, I am going to discuss one of the most burning topic in our field, that is degenerative lumbar spondylolisthesis, to fuse or not to fuse. I am going to throw light on this after reviewing lots of papers in the literature. I went through many papers, but I have selected few landmark papers which really made difference in our thinking and our rationale. So let us see what the recent evidence says and what does the literature say, whether we should fuse or not fuse in degenerative lumbar spondylolisthesis. I will be starting from the papers which were in the past, and then we'll come what the new papers say. So whether fusion for degenerative spondylolisthesis is actually a prerequisite or a safeguard, or it is just a superfluous surgical implant procedure. So the first paper I would be discussing is from the prestigious JBJS journal from the Professor Harry Harkowitz. It was a prospective study. I have purposefully selected more of prospective randomized control study. There was no selection bias. 50 consecutive patients were selected with degenerative listhesis, and alternate patients were subjected to only decompression and decompression with fusion. But mind you, in this study, they were only non-instrumented posterolateral fusion. So the outcome result was compared clinically and radiologically, and it was divided into excellent, good, fair, and poor, depending on the relief of symptoms, need of further medications, restriction of activities, and getting back to the original activity. And the radiological result was compared in the form of X-rays, which then calculated whether there was further listhesis, what was the height of disc space, what was the fusion status, and these were then analyzed by student t-test. So they found out that the results of this prospective study clearly demonstrated that decompressive lumbar laminectomy with intertransverse process arthrodosis is the operative procedure of choice for patients who have spinal stenosis with listhesis at single level. And the age and sex of the patient or the height of the disc did not influence the outcome of the operation. And the verdict was fusion is necessary. They have not mentioned about the implants, but the fusion is necessary in the cases where there is degenerative spondylolisthesis. The shortcomings of this study were probably the patients in the non-fusion group had already pre-op more low back pain scores, listhesis and translation and angulation on dynamic views. And that's why that might have not resulted into a good outcome. Then came this review of literature, which was by Dr. Dilip Sengupta and again Harry Harkowitz, presented in the Spine Journal in 2005. They went through numerous papers and literature, and then they came out with some suggestions and their own recommendations, which again says decompression alone has limited role. Fusion provides better clinical outcome than decompression alone, but they do not again mention about instrumentation. Later on, they mention instrumentation is indicated in the presence of grade 2 or more listhesis, radiologic instability, and for correction of listhesis or kyphotic deformity. They also gave some recommendations for instrumented fusion, like if the disc height is more than 2 mm at the listhetic level, then instrumented fusion is recommended to prevent progression of listhesis. If there is a presence of frank kyphosis, then again instrumentation to correct this deformity is required. Presence of abnormal motion at the listhetic segment exceeding 5 mm is an indication for instrumentation to achieve fusion. In the cases where there have been previous laminectomies and more than grade 2 listhesis, definitely you need instrumentated fusion. And also the extent of decompression will decide whether you need to instrument, because if it is a redo case and you have to remove the entire facet, then definitely you have to instrumented fusion has to be done. When correction of listhesis is also aimed, then also we do a instrumented fusion. That is what the recommendations given by this paper. Then in 2012, it was tried to compare whether any baseline symptoms have an answer for this. So patient presenting with more of back pain or leg pain, do they give us an answer whether we should fuse or not fuse in such cases? This was a retrospective study. Okay, there was no selection bias but no randomization done. Follow-up was very low, only 1 year. 213 consecutive patients were selected. Group 1, 56 patients, only decompression. Group 2, decompression with instrumented fusion, 157 patients. And outcome measures compared were core outcome measures index, low back pain, and leg pain, numerical pain scores. So this study says that lumbar degenerative spondylolisthesis patients showed better patient-based outcome with instrumented fusion and decompression than with decompression alone, regardless of baseline symptoms. So this was a retrospective study which said that whatever the patient comes with, whether more of back pain, more of leg pain, but instrumented fusion helps and have better results. And so the verdict was fusion. But shortcomings were like, this was paper published using registry form data and questionnaires filled by patients themselves retrospectively. So there was very unreliability on the major complaints ticked by patients. There was no fixed criteria for fusion, indication for fusion, and type of fusion was at surgeon's discretion. Also, there was uncertainty whether the buttock pain was considered as back pain or leg pain by the patient. This was a landmark paper which was published in 2016 in New England Journal of Medicine. It was actually a prospective study. It is a multi-center trial done in 5 centers in US between 2002 and 2009. It was a randomized control trial. There was no selection bias. It was by Gogawala et al. And team. So 66 patients of degenerative spondylolisthesis, they were randomized into 2 groups, 35 into just decompression, 31 into both decompression with instrumented fusion. Follow-up was minimum 2 years. 2/3 patients had follow-up for almost 4 years. Inclusion criteria was stable degenerative listhesis patient. So there was no instability there. And exclusion was more than 3 mm translation on dynamic views and instability type of pain. All these patients were excluded. Primary outcome measure which was seen was SF36, Health Quality Index, and secondary measure was ODI. So they clearly demonstrated that the instrumented fusion patients did well at the 2-year and 4-year outcomes because they had significant p-value less than 0.05, but there was no much difference in the ODI. So SF36 showed better outcome at the end of 2 years with the patients who underwent instrumented fusions, but ODI did not show significant difference. So the outcome was the addition of lumbar spinal fusion to laminectomy was associated with slightly greater but clinically meaningful improvement in overall physical health-related quality of life than laminectomy alone. Also, the reoperation rate was more in the non-fusion group, that was 34%. So the verdict was fusion again. But there were many shortcomings in this study. There was no significant difference in ODI score. Actually, ODI is compared to be more disease specific because it is related to back and leg pain. Magnitude of difference in the SF36 score was also very small. Long-term follow-up, there were many patient dropouts which could have obscured the analysis of outcome measures. Minimally invasive decompression procedures would have shown more better results in non-fusion group. And higher rate of reoperation in decompression group might have negatively affected SF36 scores in recovery period. Same journal, one more article by another group. It was a Swedish spinal stenosis study group. It was a Swedish paper. It was again a prospective study, multi-center trial done at 7 centers in Sweden between 2006 and 2012. Randomized trial, no selection bias, 247 patients. In this group, actually, they divided the patients with lumbar spinal stenosis into 2 groups, one with decompression and one undergoing decompression with fusion. And out of those 123 who underwent fusion, all 67 had listhesis, and 124 which underwent only decompression, they also had listhesis. So the primary outcome measure was ODI in this study, and the follow-up was for 2 years. 2/3 patients had follow-up for 5 years. So these were the inclusion and the exclusion criteria. The aim of this study was to investigate whether fusion surgery as an adjunct to decompression surgery resulted in better clinical outcomes at 2 years than only decompression alone, who underwent surgery for lumbar spinal stenosis with or without preoperative degenerative spondylolisthesis. So they found out that there was no significant difference. In spite of presence of spondylolisthesis, fusion did not add to the outcome. So the outcome were comparable in both the groups, and fusion did not give any advantage in spite of presence of degenerative spondylolisthesis. So among patients with LCS with listhesis, decompression surgery plus fusion surgery did not result in better clinical outcomes at 2 years and 5 years than did decompression surgery alone. So the verdict was do not fuse. Same year, same journal, one was fusion, one was do not fuse. The shortcomings of this study were results could not be validated to mobile degenerative listhesis. There were no dynamic views which were taken into consideration to see the instability, and method used for decomp and decompression plus fusion was solely at the surgeon's discretion. This was a retrospective study coming from Korea, done under the Professor Connect Chun, and 64 patients who were already undergone surgery for stable degenerative listhesis, who underwent only decompression surgery from 1990 to 2013 were included. Also, exclusion criteria was deformity, infections, previous surgery, okay, and patients who did not have any dynamic radiographs. Study parameters they saw was clinical symptoms. Again, radiologically they saw whether there was an increase of listhesis, instability, and recurrence of symptoms and revision surgery. Follow-up was less, only 1 year. It was a small sample size, and the conclusion was decompression-only surgery has its role in managing low-grade degenerative spondylolisthesis, even in the presence of back pain and radiological instability on dynamic radiographs. Fusion should not be encouraged in all cases of degenerative spondylolisthesis. In this, they mentioned that probably prone traction radiographs have role to find out whether there is really instability rather than lateral dynamic flexion extension views. But the number of patients were very small. So the verdict was do not fuse in that paper. One more prospective study, which came in 2018 from the Japanese group, again randomized controlled trial, 85 patients, group 1 decompression, group 2 only instrumented PLF, and group 3 was done with a dynamic stabilization with graph. Inclusion criteria was only one level stenosis with listhesis and multi-level stenosis or pathology, foraminal stenosis, previous surgery fracture were excluded. Follow-up was good, so 5 years follow-up. Outcome measures used were VAS and JOA. Conclusion of this study was additional instrumentation operation for low-grade degenerative spondylolisthesis did not result in superior results to decompression alone at 1 and even 5 years post-operatively. And this was level 2 evidence. Again, the verdict was do not fuse. The shortcomings were most patients had low-grade slip, did not contain minimally invasive procedures. 5-year follow-up in fusion group were more as compared to non-fusion groups and small sample size in each group. One paper from again American paper, it was a retrospective study published in Journal of Neurosurgery. 426 patients, 342 fusion group, 84 decompression. Again single level degenerative listhesis, patient operated with only posterior only approach, and exclusion criteria was more than one level listhesis and non-posterior approach. ODI and NRS and EQ5D were used for outcome measures. Follow-up was only 1 year. The conclusion was surgery for grade 1 lumbar spondylolisthesis, regardless of treatment strategy, was associated with significant improvement. So whether you fuse or not fuse, both were okay. But when adjusting for covariates, fusion surgery was associated with superior ODI at 12 months. So again, an American paper favoring more of fusion paper. So both were favored in this. There was no randomization done, no attempt to standardize surgical decision making or surgical procedure in this paper. Multi-level disease patients were excluded and only 1 year follow-up was there. Just last two papers, this is again a retrospective study coming from again Korea. 36 patients, small number, symptomatic grade 1 listhesis who underwent only decompression. So they studied the patients who underwent only decompression in spite of grade 1 listhesis. Exclusion criteria was instability on dynamic view, previous surgery and fracture and deformity. Follow-up was good 5 years and outcome measures were again VAS and ODI. The long-term follow-up results were satisfactory clinical outcomes were obtained with decompression alone without fusion for patients with lumbar spinal stenosis and listhesis. So again, do not fuse. This was one more good trial by a Norwegian group in which it was a multi-center open label randomized trial. Okay, it was 267 patients, good number, 133 decompression patients, 129 fusion with decompression, symptomatic stenosis with listhesis, and 3 mm, there has to be listhesis of at least 3 mm on standing lateral radiograph. Exclusion criteria was foraminal stenosis and more than one level listhesis. Again, ODI was compared and the primary outcome was compared if there had been a reduction in ODI by at least 30%. They showed that patients who underwent surgery for listhesis, decompression alone was non-inferior to decompression with fusion over a period of 2 years. So again, the results of only decompression was non-inferior compared to fusion. But they also said that reoperation occurred somewhat more often in the decompression alone group than in the fusion group. So do not fuse was the verdict. Then the review literature just came in European Spine Journal in around 2018, which says that currently there is not enough evidence that adding instrumented fusion to decompression leads to superior outcomes in cases with stenosis with listhesis. So the last Lancet paper which just came now in September 2022, it was a meta-analysis. Okay, they compared the RCTs and cohort studies. So 33 studies were compared, and the result was clinical effectiveness of decompression alone was comparable to that of decompression with fusion for degenerative lumbar spondylolisthesis. Decompression alone is recommended for patients with degenerative lumbar spondylolisthesis. So this was the recent paper in Lancet. It was a meta-analysis. So do not fuse. As per NAS guidelines also, symptomatic single-level degenerative spondylolisthesis, which is of low grade and without lateral foraminal stenosis, decompression alone with preservation of midline structures provide equivalent outcomes when compared to surgical decompression with fusion. So NAS says do not fuse. So friends, you must have got confused. Initial papers said fuse in every patients, but the recent papers which have come out has said there is no need of fusion. So we need to think whether there is stable subgroup of degenerative spondylolisthesis which behaves like simple spinal stenosis and who may benefit from just simple decompression alone and do not need fusion. We need to define what is really stable and unstable in degenerative listhesis and set the standard protocol of investigation to define that. Whatever said and done, clinical presentation of patient is of paramount importance in decision making of such cases. If the patient comes to you with severe back pain, which is of instability type, more on changing postures, more in changing positions, more on axial loading, then definitely in the presence of listhesis, then I think we all would incline more towards the fusion. So clinical presentation is very important. Whether minimally invasive spine surgery like full endoscopic decompressions will change the fusion criteria in the future and will be a game changer. We need to have more prospective RCTs, double-blind trials, multi-center trials with no selection bias, large sample size, and long follow-up results to come to a conclusion and set up protocols. So in summary, I would like to say that criteria for instrumented fusion in degenerative lumbar spondylolisthesis in symptomatic patients would be a high-grade listhesis, probably in patients who have undergone previous laminectomies, or a mobile unstable listhesis on dynamic views showing at least more than 5 mm translation, angulation of more than 10 degrees at listhetic levels, or associated olesthesis, a tall black disc height more than 2 to 3 mm, facetal effusion at the listhetic level, widening of facets of more than 1.5 mm. When the back pain is significant and predominant and instability type, okay, more on movements, changing postures, a young patient with high demand, then all these would be a criteria to go towards the instrumented fusion. But definitely a old patient, low demand, with predominant leg symptoms, stable grade 1 degenerative listhesis with settled disc, need not undergo instrumented fusion procedure and may be treated with decompression only. Thank you.